And we are recording,
We
Mr.
are recording. I'm ready.
Now, it looks like you're about to rob a bank later tonight once it gets nice and dark.
Oh, yeah, let me put my hood up.
With your
Really
all
complete the
black outfit.
ensemble.
You look like a gay ninja.
That's the look I'm always going for.
That's right. He sneaks right in and he hits you with his katana sword down his pants. Ha!
Wax on and wax off my dick.
That's right. Is that wax in your face or are you just happy to see me?
I'm a squirter just like Granny.
Oh god. Oh man, and we're definitely gonna cancel. But we're gonna do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the Frat Chat Podcast.
All young men like three things: food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts in time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris Moore.
I'm good, but you know what? I'm a little hungover. We had a going away party for a coworker last night who's transferring to California.
Oh.
And so, like, man, we got smashed.
To California. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. Do you know whereabouts in California?
Santa Monica.
Oh, such a good part. You know, minus the whole
Fires
thing, you know.
Ooh.
Woo! But it's getting better again. It's getting better.
Yes.
But that is scary.
I'm getting too old for all this partying, and every day, whenever I wake up hungover, I'm like, I gotta stop doing this. But the moment someone's like, "You want to hang out?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, I'd love to." I think I'm a fun person. I love to have fun. Like I could party all day, every day.
See, you're kind of like Julie. You need to always be doing something. I am more than comfortable with just sitting on the couch and playing video games and snuggling my dog. You know, I think that's what you need a dog. I think that's what changed me. Once I got a dog, I never want to fucking leave the dog. I'm like, I miss Stella, you know?
Oh,
she's so cute. You know, she doesn't understand why I'm going out drinking. And, you know, like, if I go out, Julie's going to come with me so that she hangs out by herself. And it makes me sad, you know? So I always come home earlier than I would ever since I got Stella. But, God, I'm with you with the hangovers, dude. Like, I feel like once I have like a couple drinks in me, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I do this, and I get real fun again, you know.
Oh yeah.
But then the next day, I'm like, why the fuck did I get real fun again? Like, what am I doing with myself? I feel awful.
You know, the other night I was cooking and I was using red wine, and then I was like, you know, drinking a little bit of red wine too. And then I went to add more red wine, and I was like, it's empty? Like, did I just drink the whole bottle of wine in the matter of like an hour? Like, did I just drink a whole bottle of wine? Sure did.
Yeah, I hung out with one of our former frat brothers, and I'll tell you who after the show. But
maybe he is fat.
Yeah, right. Ooh. And you know, we're having a couple drinks, him and his wife, and he pulls out some whiskey, and you know, he like mixed it with some ice and shit down the rock, and it was really smooth. And you know, I never drink whiskey, especially straight up, but it was so smooth. I was like, oh, let me have another one. And I have a second one, and the thing is, these things were like two shots worth in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the second one hit me like a piece of shit, and after that, so I was like, oh. And it was like 4 a.m. I slept over at their place with Julie and Stella, and literally 4 a.m, my stomach just goes. I'm like, oh god, no! And I fucking had to run to the bathroom and throw up like a bitch, just like college days. It was like, oh god,
Dude,
it's so
I'm not much of a
embarrassing.
puker, but I wish I was because it comes out the other end for me. And so
Oh,
today I was at H&R Block and I'm so hungover and I don't know what it is about my body, but every single day at 9 a.m. I have to be near a toilet. I poop
yeah,
every day clockwork at 9 a.m. And
yeah.
sometimes I'm on the train at 9 a.m. I'm like, oh fuck. Like, why does my body do this to me? Like, be flexible. So today I'm at this appointment with H&R Block. I started sweating. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, do you have a bathroom? And they said, we don't have a public restroom. I said, but do you have a restroom that I could use right now that might be not be public, but it's private? And they're like, I was like, it's an emergency. They're like, okay, follow me. I blew up the, and then I was in there for a little while and like I came back and this poor girl that did my taxes was like, everything okay? I was like, oh, why did she have to ask that? Why did she say it like that? Just don't even acknowledge it. But I was so sweaty, so sweaty.
He was not H&R Blocked, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just tell you that.
Ooh, it was
Maybe
bad.
that's why your taxes are so expensive.
Oh yeah, guys, I
they
owe
just
$4,000 this
they
year.
just billed you for the pipes.
I made too much money. They might have, maybe.
This guy fucking blew up the bathroom. You know how many ladies we had to hire to come clean this shit? You know how expensive they are now that ICE is deporting half of them? This is not good.
And then
Fucking
she
bill them.
asked me if I had any she's like, have you had any like medical bills? I was like, why? And
It's
she's
like,
like,
well,
oh,
because what you just did in there, sir. Are you serious?
that's what I thought she was just like about implying. But she meant just, I guess, like you get a tax break for medical stuff, but it was just such bad timing. I was like, oh. It's like, way to kick a homo while he's
Oh
down.
god, dude. At least they said yes. I feel like some people would have held on to that no, but like, there's a Starbucks across the street. You know,
Yeah.
there's always that jerk. Oh god, but at least you didn't shit yourself too.
You know what?
That would have
It
been
made me think of, I think I've talked about this on the pod before, but I'm going to repeat this story. Once upon a time, there was, remember when like skinny jeans were big a few years ago?
bad. Yeah. I miss my skinny jeans. Actually,
Me
no, I
too.
don't.
I don't
But
fit in them anymore.
they did look
Um,
great, but fuck, they were a lot to get in and off.
you
It was so
know?
annoying.
So uh I wasn't wearing underwear because you could see it through the skinny jeans, you know? And people were calling me at work panty liner
Oh
because you
god,
could see my panty lines. Although
that's like sexual harassment, though. You can't be fucking doing that. What the fuck?
but panty liners are actually like pads that women wear when they're menstruating. That's a panty liner.
Oh, so
You
yours
line your
weren't
panty
panty
with it.
liners. Yours were butt pads. I remember those. I used
Oh
to.
yeah, I had butt pads at one point because my butt was so tiny. But anyway, so calling me panty liner is a total miss. It doesn't even make sense. But what they're referring to is the fact that I had very noticeable, visible panty lines. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna wear panties. It's okay. So
Oh no.
one day, this like vendor, this like rep that we work with, catered lunch and got like this Middle Eastern spread and it was like Mediterranean, I guess, themed thing or whatever.
Right.
It was like falafel, and is that what area of the world is that?
Yeah, it's Mediterranean food.
Mediterranean, I guess. And so, we ate it, and then we all got sick. And my old boss, this is when I worked at Cohen's Fashion Optical, and this jackass, Alan Cohen, owner of Cohen's Fashion Optical, there's two bathrooms, a men's and a women's bathroom. He took over the women's bathroom as his
No.
own personal bathroom. And then everyone
No.
had to share the other bathroom, right?
No.
He didn't like to share space. And we were all so sick, he would not let us use his bathroom. We're all in line for this one other bathroom, right? And we're all sweaty and we're sick, right? And as soon as I get into the bathroom, I pull my pants down, I sit on the toilet, and I unleash the most disgusting animal from my ass, right? But here's the kicker. This happened to be the one day that I actually did wear panties, and I forgot. I didn't pull them down.
No!
I sat on the toilet, and I pooped my panties on the toilet. I was so distraught, and I was like, I hope I make it in time. And finally, it felt so good to let it rip. And then but after I let it rip, I didn't hear the splash zone. I was like, why didn't I hear? I should have heard. And then I realized I'm wearing a shit-filled pair of panties.
Then you saw the lava.
So bad. And then I was like, I have to throw these away. And I looked at the trash can, and the trash can was mesh. And I was like, of course it's a mesh trash can. Of course it's a mesh trash can. God damn it. So I took off my undies. I wrapped it up in toilet paper. I had like a big, what looked like a snowball of toilet paper. And I threw it in the trash can. And then I thought, Chris, you cannot trust any fart today because you don't have any protective layer. Like it's going straight through the jeans.
Man, this bathroom really smells like shit.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know.
Now I look back on, like, now I understand why Mr. Cohen didn't want to share his bathroom because we're all fucking pigs.
God.
Oh god. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't share the bathroom with me either. So maybe I shouldn't have called him a jackass. But
and he would have
a jackass for other reasons, huh?
And you would also own like 20 more pair of underwear.
I know.
You'd save thousands of panties.
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus. Well, that's a great way to start the pod, if I say so myself. Now I do got a little bit of a news story for you, Mr. Moore. Hilarious, fun little news story.
Is it about Florida?
No, goddammit, it's not always about Florida, but it could be Florida. Maybe it was on the way to Florida.
Yeah.
Actually. So you just never know. But anyways, God damn it. Timmy, hello. I forgot to tell you, Timmy's back for his first day.
Oh, hi, Timmy.
He's like sitting over there, and it's not going well. It's really not. It's like he forgot how to do anything. I'm like giving him the cue to give me the news track song, and he's just kind of staring at me again.
Timmy might have been one of the worst interns. I remember one time we went out for drinks after recording, and I was like, how much are we paying you? And he was like, nothing. I'm an intern. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, God. Woo.
Oh, God damn it, Timmy. That's a lot of shit. Oh, now you play it? Is it because we don't pay you? Turn it off. We're not ready yet. God. Terrible. To be fair, like you said, we don't pay anyone, so it is kind of hard to recruit a quality intern during these tough financial times. No offense, Timmy. And I told Timmy I was going to pay him off profits off my Acorns portfolio, but Trump keeps literally crashing the market, so it hasn't made a single dollar since he's become president. In fact, it's lost money. So I'm like, sorry, Timmy, you kind of technically owe me $200, just so you know. So we did say your pay was depending on my stock portfolio. So I lost $200. So I'll just discount it off for lunch.
Speaking of Trump, last night at this party, everyone was talking about the President Zelensky from Ukraine and Trump's discussion. And I was like, this is not real. This can't be real. This is not real. And then last night, I went down the rabbit hole this morning, and I was like, this is real life.
And the thing is, you have J.D. Vance, who his whole argument, he's that type of person that he just basically keeps talking and he just talks over you until you shut up and let him say what he has to say, and just keeps going down like these like whataboutisms. So if let's say you ask me anything, ask me any question.
Um, what is your take on the stock market?
Excuse me, Christopher. Excuse me. You want to talk about the stock market? You want to sit here and waste time talking about the stock market when you have children dying because the previous administration was shipping condoms over to Hamas? Which what people might say was disproven, but what does it even matter, Chris? The stock market? We're talking about the stock market when we could talk about the eggs that were made more expensive by the previous administration, and no one wants to listen about the eggs. But then you say that we made it more expensive. We're talking about the stock market, and he just keeps going on and on and on and on about these fucking things that have
I
nothing
would
to do
love
with
to. I would love to watch
Hey.
his wife slap him.
Oh, that would be fun. That'd be.
I think that would be great television.
That would be like the greatest, like rom-com ending ever. You know. She just slaps him and he falls down like a couple of stairs, you know. And then Trump is getting impeached at the same time. He's like, I'm innocent, believe me, or some shit. And then they both go away, and it's just hilarious. One can dream. But
I
yeah,
think
no,
that,
that was
like,
bad. They were just yelling at the poor guy over and over and over. It was bad.
it was so bad. You know, my boss currently, I challenge authority sometimes because I think that is necessary. I think that is necessary in organizations. If you have an idea to add efficiency and to make something more profitable, you should speak up and you should
Totally.
challenge the process. And so I never necessarily complain. I'm very corporate outside of comedy. So I um I will suggest a solution when I present a problem. I don't just like complain for the sake of
Totally.
complaining.
Totally.
So I think I'm great to partner with, and I think it's fair for us to challenge people who are in like high powers in politics, you know.
Yeah.
So like, whether it was my guy or their guy that got elected doesn't matter. Like I think we have every right
Yeah, it represents all of us. We're still
to
paying taxes.
of course. And so like even when it was Democratic president, I still had some things to say. There's some things I didn't like, you know.
Absolutely.
But just the blind loyalty that Trump has amongst his fans, not just his
That's
constituents,
crazy.
but they're like fans, the blind loyalty and the inability to question some choices. I'm like, come
That's
on,
wild.
guys. Like the
Pretty
way that
wild
he
stuff.
spoke to Zelensky was inappropriate.
Yeah, that was not bad. That was not good. I mean, and then Zelensky was like to JD Vance, just because you talk louder about the war doesn't mean that you're correct. And Trump's like, he's not being loud, and then starts yelling at him himself. You don't have the cards to deal with. Okay, believe me, you don't have the cards. Okay, you got nothing. Okay, without us, you got nothing. And he's just like, oh god, that was bad, dude. It was so
Anyway.
bad. Yeah. Anyways, Timmy. Are we ready? Can we
Timmy, get it together.
Can we get this news track going? Okay, I'm gonna give you the cue, and when I point at you, you play it. Okay? Okay, no. You don't point to yourself. I point to you. Okay. Dumbass. Okay, I'm gonna point. I'm gonna do this. Just play it. Okay. No. I'll just do it. So, in police arrested a 40-year-old Colombian national who was attempting to smuggle drugs under his wig. Police suspected the man of smuggling after spotting something on one of the airport security scanners. And it turned out there was literally over $10,000 worth of cocaine under a toupee. And the worst part is that there's a video of it, which you actually sent to me, where you can see the man just covering his face from the embarrassment of the situation while they rip off the toupee and get the drugs. And the thing is, I can't tell if he's more embarrassed by getting caught by smuggling drugs, or the fact that he's wearing that terrible toupee. Because what
It
the
was
fuck
bad.
were you thinking, man? It was terrible. It was terrible. Did they tell you could keep the toupee after? Is that why you did it? Because that was bad, dude. Good
I would
lord.
have clocked that shit from a mile away.
Uh-huh.
From a mile away, I would have been like, "Oh, he's got drugs in his hair."
Yeah, you don't need a police dog to tell me that's a fucking drug job right there. Like, who else would have a toupee that bumpy? What
But
the fuck?
though, like when you go through these scanners, like drugs show up in a different color.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah, it's
mean?
the whole thing. They know if something's up in. They can tell if something's up your ass. They're gonna tell me, and they don't tell something's under a goddamn toupee. Like, what were they thinking?
I just don't understand how dumb people are. I just don't get
Yeah,
it.
that's dumb. Especially knowing that now in every one of these flights they scanned you. It's not even ever since 9/11, and the shoe bomber guy and shit. You're gonna get scanned. This is what they do.
And then whenever I travel internationally, I feel like they always have you walk in pairs by the police dogs, and the dogs
Oh
just
yeah,
walk around you and they sniff you.
totally. It's funny when I bring Stella with me. They have me pick her up and bring her through the metal detector, and then they scan my hands with something like they put some cloth on it,
Uh huh.
and then they have me hold her paws, and they scan us, I guess, to see if I have drugs or something on her.
I think they're looking to see if you're like radioactive or something.
Or maybe if I have a bomb. It's like, no, man, I'm not gonna put a bomb. Let's see how cute my dog is. Would I put a bomb in that carrier? Kill her? No way, man. No way. Take my eyes, but not Stella. Jesus.
If there's any bomb happening, it's probably me in the bathroom
That's
after
right.
a burrito. I still never understand why airports sell
Simone to
burritos.
our
And
block.
oh,
Well, actually, I sent you a picture of the airport at I think it was LAX that I was at, and they literally had the Mexican spot, and then right next to it was the bathroom.
yeah,
It's like, at least they're
that's smart
forward thinking. At least they're forward thinking here. They know people are gonna get the burrito. You give them the choice, but at least you put the bathroom right next to them. That's why I like California. I appreciate California. They're very forward thinking. They're thinking about the people. Meanwhile, other states, I'm not going to name any names, Kentucky would probably put it on the other side of the airport just to teach you a lesson. But that's just me. Anywho, Mr. Mo, I believe actually you have a story to share as well.
yeah. I saw this online, and
Jimmy, no, we don't need the song again. It's fine. I appreciate it, but we don't need it this time. I'll signal when I need stuff.
Timmy, I don't know why you're talking when I'm trying to speak.
No, Timmy, that wasn't the signal. God damn it! I was showing you what the signal looks like in case I need something, dude. What do you? Sorry, dude.
Oh, Timmy.
This might not be
Well,
a long return.
Timmy needs to go back to jail. Okay, so there's a new report by Freedom House, and it's rated people's access to political rights and civil liberties in 210 countries.
Oh.
So I guess the higher the score, the better your country is.
Wait, I assume America's going to do real good. So I have a guy here that's going to react, it's going to listen to where he's going to land. I think it's going to do good. I promise you. I brought him over here. So I think America's being number one. No, obviously. So let me just go get this guy real quick. He is your super average American guy.
Oh, I'd love to meet him.
And he loves America. So let me go get him real quick. I'll be right back. Don't tell the people yet. He really wants to hear this.
Okay.
All right. Yay. Where do I go? Hey. Hey.
Hello.
Over here. Oh, wow. What the hell? Hey.
All right. Hello, sir.
What's up, brother?
Introduce yourself for our listeners.
That's right. My name is the average American guy. Yeah, brother. Woo! USA! USA! USA!
All right. So,
So I'm here. We're here to hear how free we are, right? We're number one, right? There's this list.
well, I'm going to go over the findings. So, the higher the score, the more civil liberties and access to political rights that the country has. So, coming in fifth place is no shock, is Canada.
Canada, boo! Canada, boo! This should be the 51st state, brother. Everybody knows that.
Well, Canada is number 5. Number 4 is Norway.
Norway?
Yeah.
More like, no way, man. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, hit me.
Have you been to Norway?
I couldn't even point it down in a map. Can you?
I believe that. Okay, so
Public
next,
schools. Woo!
next up we have Sweden.
Department of Education. Woo!
So Norway, followed by Sweden, which is also a Scandinavian country.
Sweden.
So I feel like
not number 3.
So that's number 3, Sweden. You know, I always think to myself, like, Scandinavia is so cold, but I guess the lifestyle isn't horrible. I would never want to go visit there because of its proximity to, like, the Arctic North. You know what I mean? But I guess it's a nice place
the
to live.
gays,
So,
right?
I'm
That's
sorry.
what you're saying. So it's all full of gays, right? That's what you're.
No,
You mean?
no,
You just
that's
said because of the lifestyle. Obviously, you're talking about the gays.
no.
Everybody knows
Parisians
that.
are gay. Okay, so number 2 is a tiny country confused with Australia, but it's not. It's New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Have you heard that before?
I've I've heard of Old Zealand, obviously. You know, haven't you?
Well, we'll study the map later. Then coming in number 1, can you guess
Woo!
what country it is?
I'm ready for it. I got my American flag around me, brother. I got freedom here in the air. It's gotta be the old U.S. of A. Yeah, hit
Coming
me.
in at number 1, we have Finland, another Scandinavian country.
What the fuck,
Yeah.
Finland? What do you mean Finland? Who
America
the fuck is
wasn't
Finland?
even ranked in the top 10. It wasn't ranked in the top 20.
Who
It wasn't
wrote
ranked in
this
the top
goddamn
30,
list?
40. It was ranked 59th.
59th? This is the most ridiculous. Who wrote this list? Canada? Is this Canada after us because of all the bullshit?
It's an international study, and
International.
I believe it. I believe it. So maybe, things might be free for you, sir, but if you were a person of color, or if you were transgender, or any member of the queer community, if you were a woman, there's a lot of rights that have been stripped away and then are continually being stripped away from.
What are you talking about? Women still got all the rights. I see my lady over there. She still has the right to make me a sandwich. Wow. I bring her everywhere with me because I'm afraid she'll leave me,
Well,
watch her.
I mean, everything that you're saying does not surprise me, and it's disappointing. And this is the country we live in, and that is why we were ranked 59th. So thank you so much for your participation.
Well,
and
all I have to say is USA still number 1. Woo! USA! I'm out here, bozo.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And that's the average person in middle America that voted the way that they voted because some Cheeto promised them cheaper eggs. Fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, you can see your way out. Yeah, take your lady with you. Wow, that guy was kind of a piece of work, huh?
They're all pieces of work.
Woo!
That's like the entire state of West Virginia.
No offense, Americans, friends. We're both here, American citizens on this very podcast. He was just an average American guy walking down the street. He literally had an American flag wrapped around himself. I didn't think he'd be this much of a nut job.
Did his breath smell like Mountain Dew?
No,
Was he barefoot?
It did smell like Code Red, actually. Now you say it.
Okay.
But he did keep calling it the Gulf of America, which should have been a red flag to me.
That is such a what the fuck, and it's like I don't even know what to say about it because I feel like there's a lot of people, a lot of like people in the red states who are like, "That's a win, we win." What did you win? Only people in America and some places are going to be referring to it, but we're not going to reprint every map in the country.
Well, it's
and all
like
the
Freedom
schools.
Fries. It's the
It's
same
so
thing.
stupid, yeah.
It's the same
And then
thing.
also internationally, they're still going to call it Gulf of Mexico. They're not going to. They're not going to call it because America decided to change it.
Totally. Can you imagine if they did though? Never gonna happen. But then they would really be like, "Oh my God, Trump is the man." But no, it's just dumb things like that. But here's the thing: it's little things like that, and renaming mountains and bases and things like that, where it's not to raise the alarm every podcast, because at this point he's already president and he has every branch of government under his control, so we're kind of at his mercy. We're at the mercy of the courts, really.
Yeah.
But basically, God, where the fuck was I going? Oh yeah. When dictators like this or fascist governments do little things like this, it's to establish control. Like Chavez, for example, in Venezuela went as far as to change the time. So then it's like a subconscious thing. He only changed it by like half hour or an hour or something. It was very stupid, very slim time. But now even the time has been controlled by the man. You know what I mean? So it's doing little things like that let you know that he's firmly under control. And it's a psychological thing. So I know that's why he's doing it.
It's so horrible because in my job, I have a global position and I cannot get discussions on track because everyone is so preoccupied with asking questions about the government. Yeah. Everyone's so fixated. Like, Chris, did you see the news? Like, yes, I saw the news. Of course. I wake up and the first thing I do is watch the news and I cry.
I know, man. I stopped checking my phone after, like, I used to go to the bathroom at like 2 a.m. and quickly look at my notifications just to see if anything important happens. Now, so I can't do that anymore because the news thing pops up on my phone and it always says something awful that they're doing in the middle of the night. And then I'm just like, fuck, now I can't sleep until like 4 a.m. So I told myself no more news until I wake up and get out of bed. But yeah, it's depressing. It's bad. And it's only been a month. And I'm not kidding, man. Seriously, like I started buying stock right around the time towards the end of the pandemic, and just figured it's smarter for me because if I have it in the bank with my money, I'm gonna spend it. So meanwhile, if I buy a little stock here and there, or I do an Acorns account where you just have like $100 a month into it, it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's growing, and you can check on it as time goes by, and it's usually on the uppity up. And then all of a sudden, I notice it's like, wait a minute, I have put in the last month or so, since it started, it had just reloaded. So every month I put in $100, and I noticed the value of it hasn't gone up at all. It's been the same as if I hadn't put in any money. It's because even though I put in $100, which should shoot it up, the stock market's been going down as a result. So I'm like losing money. I'm like, what the fuck, Donald? What are you doing? And it's the tariffs, it's the uncertainty, and Bitcoin went down 20% of its value.
Oh, wow.
In just a month. Bitcoin had broken $100,000 of value, and now it's around like $80,000. So if you have 80 grand in hand, it's the time to buy Bitcoin. But yeah, it just goes to show. Dogecoin, who was also going through a crazy resurgence, is now in a crazy downward swing. So I mean, it's definitely not good, but it's only been a month, so I guess we just got to see what happens from here. But
well, yesterday was like a economic blackout. We
Yeah.
weren't supposed to like shop at like Walmart, Amazon, and whatnot. Did that make an impact? Did anybody have anything to say about it, or was everyone kind of like whatever?
I don't know. Let's see. 2025 economic blackouts. Nothing yet, but it's Saturday, so I'm sure maybe uh, on Monday we'll see the results. We're recording this on a Saturday. It airs on Tuesday. But
Well,
anywho,
we'll keep you posted. So, what's on the agenda today? What's our topic?
Mr. Mo, today we're gonna go down a very, I guess, not so fun way, weighing for the people that endured this. But these people are idiots, and things happen to them because they idiots or bad people. Actually, not all of them. There's one that I do feel bad for. That totally didn't deserve it. But this week we're gonna get controversial, Mr. Mo. We're gonna go talk about celebrities, Mr. Mo. Celebrities that are, you guessed it, controversial, Mr. Mo. In fact, these celebrities are so controversial that they got canceled. Oh yeah, canceled. We're gonna take you almost to the very beginning of cancel culture, all the way till now, into our top 10 most controversial, the worst, the baddest celebrities that got canceled right here at the Frat Chat Podcast. And some of these people have done pretty bad things, Mr. Mo. Pretty
I
bad
think
things.
that some people will argue that cancel culture doesn't exist because, you Bill Cosby still has fans out there, and people will pay money to see him speak. And like
Yeah,
Louis
it's not the
C.K.
same.
was kind of gross, and he got canceled, but like he's still selling out like venues. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I understand that cancel culture for me, it's like whether they're completely canceled or it hit them hard at one point, like that hits the pockets where it hurts.
Totally.
So maybe they're not completely canceled, but like they had enough negative press that it like rerouted their like trajectory to success.
Absolutely, especially someone like Louis C.K. He literally lost like Hollywood movies worth millions and millions of
Oh
dollars.
yeah.
He had to disappear essentially for a while, and eventually, however you feel about the situation, some people forgive and some people forget, and that's kind of what happened for him. And enough time passed where I think people were willing to get over it, but it depends on the situation. And I don't like, for example, Bill Cosby is a tough one for me to. Ugh. And he was like
He was
someone
my
that,
hero. I'm so
yeah,
bummed about that.
everybody looked up to Bill
What a
Cosby, you know,
jackass, stupid fuck.
and it's just tough, It's like I get it, in the '70s, everybody was into taking fucking quaaludes and banging each other, but I'm sorry, bro. In the '80s and '90s, that went out of fashion. You can't fucking say that forever.
What
Not
I
cool.
would do for a Quaalude right now, man. And then wake
No
up
hangovers.
feeling like a new man with a gaping asshole.
That's right. And
Those were
Bill
the
Cosby
days,
next
the
to you.
70s. Okay, so I'll start the list.
Do it.
I think this is a pretty obvious one, but I wrote down Kanye West. So
Oh yeah.
3 years ago in 2022, he really unleashed like anti-Semitic remark after anti-Semitic remark. He said some really gnarly shit, some
Mm-hmm.
anti-Jewish nonsense, and so he was ultimately banned from Instagram and Twitter for saying hateful things.
Right.
Now we've always known him to be outspoken, and when he stepped up and said something against Taylor Swift in the award show, like he's always an attention seeker and whatever. Like maybe that's like a persona he's portraying,
Right.
but it's not working to his advantage. It's
Mm-hmm.
like Madonna pushed the envelope. Great for her. She was always in public eye, saying something, doing something. She was
Totally.
controversial, but she made
But
a career
hers
out of
was
it.
like controversial in the sake of like she was like pro gays and stuff, which
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So she was controversial, but she was actually like helping put people over
Oh, of
in a
course.
good light that were Obviously still have struggles and still fighting for the rights, but at the time it was way worse. Meanwhile,
So
Kanye is out there Nazi loving and saying that the blacks chose slavery and shit. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you
so because of
saying?
the nonsense, a lot of brands were like, we can't be associated with this.
Mm-hmm.
So he was dropped by Balenciaga, he's dropped by Adidas, The Gap. People are like, we're not touching that. Um, and then I saw this little thing on Wikipedia. It said that faithful fans attempted to rally behind West and set up a GoFundMe in an attempt to get the rapper back to his billionaire status, but the site shut the page down after it only made $5. Yikes. But it's $5 more than we had before the day started,
Oh,
And
that's
as we
sad.
know, recently he launched a t-shirt on his website that
He
had
bought
a
Super Bowl
swastika
ads.
on it.
Yep. Yep. And he paid for Super Bowl ads to advertise it, which didn't air nationally. It aired on select markets
Like,
because that was
what
like
a horrible.
but it said, come check out my new merch. Goes to this website, and you go to the website, and the only thing it sold was this shirt with a swastika.
So horrible.
Piece of shit. Yeah, I don't know what's happening to him, dude. Like, I do think the death of his mom just drove him crazy.
And his like is it his girlfriend or his wife? Whoever he's with now was like butt naked at
Mm-hmm.
that award show. Was it where was it? The Golden Globes?
It was a clear dress.
A clear dress.
She wasn't naked. It's like, come on, dude. Yeah, and she looks suspiciously a lot, like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
So it's like it just shows that there's so much damage there, and I don't know. I don't know if she's like cool with this shit or obviously into it, or it's like Stockholm syndrome. I don't know, but it's such a weird relationship.
I would be so embarrassed if Kanye was my dad. I feel so bad for those kiddos.
Whew. I don't know. Have you seen that kid sing? I'd be more embarrassed by that Lion King performance.
Oh yeah. Hey,
I'm
I think
just
that
kidding.
to be fair, Kanye West, I believe was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And so like I'm not poo-pooing on like mental illness. Like
No.
I have depression. I take medicine for it. Uh I think that part of being an adult is like going to the doctor, whether it's for your mind or your body, and to take the necessary medicine to function. And so like part of being an adult is like taking the drugs so you can be the best version of yourself. And if you are not doing that, Kanye, then you are not being a good adult and a good,
Exactly. Like Simon says, he has
you know,
depression. He has to take drugs to better himself. He can't read that good. He's not
yeah.
that he's not that young anymore. So he has to get
Mhm.
his Botox. He does the things he has to do to better himself.
And this is
he remembers to
why
take
I
off his
take
underwear.
8 pills a day.
Anyways. Woo!
What do you have?
Um,
Who's first for you?
Up first on the list is the only one on this list that I actually genuinely feel bad for because they didn't do anything and they actually turned out to be on the right side of history after the fact. We're going to take you all the way back in a little time machine, all the way back to the first of the cancel culture. People wonder, oh, who's been canceling people? Is it the left? Are they snowflakes? Or is it the right? Are they the snowflakes? But I remember the time before cancellations. No one used to get canceled. You could do whatever the fuck you want until this group made a public statement criticizing then President George W. Bush during a
W.
concert in London just before the Iraq War. Strategery. And of course, I'm talking about the at the time Dixie Chicks, now known just as the Chicks, who were the first to get canceled. And all they said was, we don't want this war, this violence, and we're ashamed that the President of the United States is from Texas. Now, this was before the Iraq War. And of course, it led to this major backlash from many country music fans and radio stations who, at the time, largely supported the war because the government had convinced us that Saddam Hussein was working with bin Laden, and it was this whole thing, and it was related to 9/11, and there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq that need to be recovered for the future and safety of the world that turn out to just simply not exist. And so, of course, the country fans, the Republican Party, everybody decided to cancel these poor ladies, and it led to a boycott of their music, and of course, widespread criticism nationwide. And they were essentially blacklisted from country radio as a result of this statement. And they literally received a huge loss of sales. So, as you said, hit them where their money hurts.
Oh, it was crazy. People were throwing their CDs out in the streets and burning stuff. It
was
crazy.
Very dramatic. The band would later address the controversy through their album Taking the Long Way and the documentary Shut Up and Sing. And now they're back. They definitely, I can't say they are as famous as they once were. They used to be like the country music sweethearts.
Yeah, I don't know if changing from the Dixie Chicks to just the Chicks is that big of a rebranding. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure.
They were just saying, because the Dixie stuff was from a time where, it was the Confederate stuff. They're just saying, they necessarily they weren't fighting for necessarily the good stuff. So maybe we should stop calling ourselves that. So
I get it. I think that it's interesting, like you said, when conservative people are like, these radical liberal leftists and their cancel culture. No. The conservatives started this nonsense with the poor Dixie Chicks.
Yeah.
You guys started it first.
Huh? Remember Freedom Fries around the same time? France wasn't along with going to bomb the shit out of Iraq. And, they're like, fuck France. We're taking back everything. They're no longer called French fries. They're called Freedom Fries from now on.
So
that
stupid.
Lasted about a week.
Now, speaking of George W., his friend...
Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, you see, you can't get fooled again.
Yeah. Well, I think he's friends with Ellen DeGeneres, isn't he? Weren't they pictured a photograph together at some game?
To be fair, he's awesome as a person. He was a terrible president at the time. The country went to shambles. He also got hit with 9/11, which was the worst.
Yeah.
And that happened early on in his presidency. So who knows what life would have been if that hadn't happened. He had the anthrax scared, all the worst shit happened. The market crashed around that time too. So it's kind of, he was hit with everything left and right. But he is a cool dude. And he's very likable and nice. And he paints and shit. And I think he smokes weed and just hangs out. Just
you know what? Why not?
Yeah, he's not a bad dude. Loaded. Yeah, fuck yeah. He's cool. He's like buddies with Obama. And he's best friends with Michelle Obama. He literally he's buds with her. They fist pump when they see each other. And they give each other candy and shit. It's that's so fucking swell. Anyways, go on.
Well, I have Ellen DeGeneres next.
Oh yeah.
She was kind of like America's sweetheart at some point.
Yes, she was.
Because she was the face of American Express. Wasn't she
She was the LGBTQ queen essentially, because first she got canceled for being gay.
Yeah.
And then she came back.
With the vengeance, with the talk show.
With a fucking vengeance. The talk show did fantastic. She was able to do stand-up again. She did Finding Nemo. But the show was built around love and just being not essentially your best self, but just being, nerdy and jokey and fun and quirky. And she would dance to start the show, and she would prank people. Someone would jump out and fucking scare someone in the middle of an interview. And it was just so mild mannered and fun that, it was hard to hate her. But then
Yeah. And she I think she was also a spokesperson for JCPenney at one point.
J.C.
So she had a
Penney,
lot there's a lot of success around her. Her show was super successful. There was like game show spin-offs with her hosting. I mean, she really um she was like top of the A-list celebrities, you know what I mean?
totally.
But then after many seasons, I think in like 2022, there's a lot of like speculation and a lot of like stories coming out that she had a toxic work environment. And I don't know if necessarily she directly contributed to it, but because it's her show, whatever happens within the walls of her facility is her business and is a
Totally.
reflection of her. You know what I mean?
Totally. Totally.
So like I've never worked with her personally, so I can't speak to this, but um it wasn't long before people like shunned her, you know what I mean? And like
Mhm.
ultimately her show ended,
Yep.
and I haven't heard from her in a while. We haven't seen anything of her. I think that recently she and Portia just left everything and relocated and moved to the UK.
Yep.
Great, but I don't know if we're going to see anything from Ellen anymore. I think she's just gonna
I think
like
she's
quit
retired.
while she's ahead and just be done. But
Yep.
I don't know if she can make a comeback because that was pretty bad.
I think the thing is, maybe with enough years, because she did do after the controversy one last like comedy special before she left, but I don't know how it did. I don't know the sales of it. I really don't know. But it was like a goodbye thing, and then she moved. But it's tough because I feel like people just like see her as a bitch now, and that's kind of tough to live down, especially for women, because people are not as fair to women about that kind of shit. But she, the thing with Ellen is that allegedly she also wasn't so good herself. But even like celebs that were on the show, like I remember, for example, Dakota Johnson was on there, and Ellen was like, "Oh, you didn't invite me to your birthday party or something like that." I was trying to put her on blast on the air, and Dakota Johnson was like, "What are you talking about? I did invite you, and
Yeah.
you chose not to come." And it was like, "Ooh, awkward." So that's kind of like the first time we started seeing these things, and it was like, "Why would you even do that on the air? That's awkward." But apparently, she would just like not even make eye contact with some of her lower co-workers, like not to call them that, but just in the eyes of her, if
Hmm.
you're an intern, you didn't deserve eye contact. And she probably did and said some stuff. Like, for example, Jimmy Fallon got in some issues because he almost got canceled because apparently sometimes he's a dick. And I do think in certain positions, especially when you're running a very successful TV show like that, you have to be a complete cocksucker. It's just you have to do it. Sometimes people need you to be a dick, but that can't be the environment that you regularly foster. The thing that say Jimmy Fallon is that people said that wasn't like a regular thing. It's just sometimes he gets mad and he fucking he has to be a dick. It is what it is. But meanwhile, with Ellen, it was widespread enough where it's hard to deny it either way. And like you said, her being the face, it's like she has to go down with the ship because how could she
Yeah.
not have known that people around her aren't happy when she's probably the person at the studio the most out of any of these people? You know what I mean? So it's tough to believe that she had nothing to do with it. It's just let me just say that. Long story short, but anyways, it's a shame because I loved her stand up and I loved her sense of humor and the little things that she would do. Like she had a whole bit about trying on trying on shoes and how when you try on shoes, you walk around in a way to test out the shoes that you never do in real life. And then she starts doing the thing, and it's like that's so fucking true. When you put on shoes, you do that, and it's so silly, but it was genius. I loved watching her perform. So it's a shame. But anyways, another person who is also a shame because I loved watching him, especially in Seinfeld, but also in various movies that he was in, like Problem Child and stuff like that. I'm talking about Michael Richards. known to most people as Kramer in Seinfeld, and known to some South Park fans that remember this as the N-word guy.
Yeah.
Because during a performance on November 17th, 2006, at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, California, Michael Richards launched into a racist rant in response to repeated heckling and interruptions from a small group of Black and Hispanic audience members. He was recorded shouting, "He's an N-word," several times, and making references to lynching,
Ooh.
Planet of the Apes, and
No.
Jim Crow. And no, when I say he's the
Oh
N-word,
God.
he said the full word with the hard R. There's not a chance in hell I'm going to repeat on the air. Kyle Doss, a member of the group that Richards addressed, said the group had arrived in the middle of the performance and were being a little loud. So they probably were heckling. But that doesn't mean they deserve this. And then Richards said, "Look at these," I quote, I'm not saying this shit, it's what he said. "Look at the stupid Mexicans and blacks being loud up there." That's the first thing he said. Then he kept on with his bit, and then after a while told him, "My friend doesn't think you're funny." Ooh, which is a comedian. That's like when you're live on stage and someone throws that out there, that's like the most fucking hurtful thing you could say. And then when I told him that, that's when he flipped me off and said, "F you, N-word." And that's how it all started. Those were the words from the person in the incident. And no, the incident itself remained unknown to the larger public for about 3 days until, of course, a cell phone video filmed by a member of the audience was obtained and released by TMZ. And this is crazy because this is around the time where cell phones started getting cameras, so that video was nice and grainy, but before that, you couldn't have done that. And then later on, after the video made the rounds around the news, Jerry Seinfeld invited Michael Richards to appear via satellite during a broadcast of The Late Show with David Letterman, where he was trying to basically explain his side of the story and apologize. But then he said, "I'm not doing too good. I lost my temper on stage. I was at a comedy club trying to do my act, and I got heckled, and I took it badly. I went into a rage and said some pretty nasty things to some Afro-Americans." And now here's the thing: was in the middle of explaining, many in the studio audience started laughing because they thought that it was that his unscripted explanation
Oh
an
God.
apology was a bit. So as Michael Richards is trying to explain, they start thinking it's a joke and they're laughing. And then you have Seinfeld there live reprimanding them, saying, "Stop laughing. It's not funny." And then basically Richards was explained that he was trying to diffuse the heckling by being even more outrageous, but then it backfired. He later went on to call civil rights leader Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson to apologize, and he also appeared as a guest on Jackson's syndicated radio show. And the guy who I spoke about earlier, Kyle Doss, stated that he did not accept Richards' apology, saying if he wanted to apologize, he could have contacted one of us in the group, but he didn't. He apologized on camera just because the tape got out. And of course, the apologize thing then became a huge thing in a South Park episode where Stan's dad says the N word and gets canceled, and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton basically make him kiss their ass. Just kiss it. so,
Horrible.
so yes, very bad. He was never quite the same again, though I will say they did briefly poke fun of it on the Larry David show, Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I actually just watched that episode very recently with Julie.
Oh yeah.
We're watching the show and Larry David was the guy that created Seinfeld, but Jerry Seinfeld. So in the show, Larry David plays himself, and it's kind of like his day-to-day shenanigans. And they're doing a Seinfeld reunion. He's finally getting off the ground. He has the original cast of Seinfeld. And one of them is Kramer. And something happens. This black guy basically pretends to be a doctor who then gives Kramer, the actor Michael Richards in real life, some fake medication to cure this disease that he's afraid he's going to die of. And then when Michael Richards finds out he's a scam, he goes out and finds the doctor in the studio lot and starts yelling at him. But of course, this is after the incident. So then when he notices around, there's like a group of black people taping him on their phones, and they're all like whispering to each other, like, "Oh God, look at him again!" And he's like, "No, not this time." And it's so well done and funny that, obviously he doesn't get a buy for that. He himself says it's the most regrettable thing he's ever done. But you can't say it's not funny. Larry David fucking killed it with that, and good on him for at least being made fun of himself for that shit.
I think even in a bit of rage, like I go from 0 to 60 pretty easily. Like I have a temper and a half. I mean, it's horrible. I'm not proud of it. And there's a reason why I've been to jail 4 times. Like I fly out the handle and I say crazy things, but never in a million years would the N word ever come out of my mouth. Even in a bit of rage, even if I felt like a member of a minority group offended me, I'm not going to resort to derogatory terms of said minority group. That's the last thing I would do.
Totally.
So when people are like, I lost control, that's been brewing in you for a while, because you can lose control and not resort to that kind of language. I'm sorry, but Michael Richards, you might be a shit person, bro. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, and
and
that's
then it's nice you apologize. You did the right things, but I think you might have some demons that you need to work out.
Yeah, and doing it as a bit, even in 2006 when it happened, which, at this time you have Carlos Mencia making like special people jokes, like all these things. It was definitely a more raunchy time in comedy. But even then, dude, you could not get away with dropping the N word like that. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, dude. And it's yeah, that's bad. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. And the thing is, if he was some like open micer somewhere with, he's some old guy who's been doing comedy 6 weeks, and he's one of these edge lords that think just being offensive makes him funny, and that's his reaction was that because that's the person he is. Then, not that I would give him the benefit of the doubt, because obviously this is still a terrible person, but I would understand the reaction to go to that. But Michael Richards was a seasoned fucking performer who had been doing TV and stand-up and shit for goddamn years at this point. Like Seinfeld had been off the air now for 6-7 years at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't get a buy, you don't get a pass. You should fucking have known better. You're way too experienced to fall for that shit. Like, what the fuck? But anyways, that's Michael Richards.
It's upsetting. What can you do? So it sucks. When you hear people say, "Don't meet your celebrity," what people say, like,
meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes. Like that's an example. Okay, so next up, I have Matt Gaetz.
Oh yeah, that's
who it shouldn't be a celebrity. He's just a weird looking like Nepo kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his forehead is screaming for some medical attention. I mean, like whoever is injectionist should be shot. So Matt Gaetz was a representative, a congressman from Florida, and he stepped down from his position when he was nominated or appointed by President Trump to be Attorney General, correct?
Mm-hmm, correct.
And then there's a lot of backlash. People are like, no. And he got nervous because he was in the midst of some pretty crazy litigation, some crazy investigations. So the House Ethics Committee voted to release its report in December of 2024. A lot of people were like, we don't need to see it. It's okay. But most people were like, we want to see
we want to see that shit.
This is a lot of investigative work. We want to see what came of this.
Yeah.
So it was made public on December 23rd. The Ethics Committee
And note,
report.
he resigned uh, purposely before that would come out, just to avoid it being released, so he could
Mhm.
still be attorney general. But uh, that he was trying to get as a loophole. That's why he resigned like the day before the release came out, and so people were like, "Well, he technically resigned, so we don't have to release it anymore." And that's when the Republicans were like, "Oh yeah, well yeah, no one needs to see that. No one needs to see that." And everybody else is like, "Fuck, we don't
Yeah.
release that shit." And so under tons of pressure, it came out.
Well,
But go on.
the Ethics Committee report concluded that Matt Gaetz had indeed violated Florida state laws, including those prohibiting statutory rape,
Ooh.
procurement of prostitution,
Ooh.
and illegal drug use. But they
Ooh.
did qualify by saying, listen, like, he did some pretty awful things. He did not engage in sex trafficking across state lines. So there's a little bit of a silver lining. Um, but the committee identified at least 20 occasions on which he had paid women for sex or drugs. It found a total of over $90,000 in payments to a 17-year-old girl and 11 other women.
That's
So
right.
this
He
is
did
the
not
party
bring
of
them
family
across.
values. Get the fuck out of here. And
He
they're
did not
like,
bring them across state lines to bang them. He banged them in his own home like a good Christian. Duh.
well, let me tell you, if I had the option between having a drag queen read to my kid or Matt Gaetz, I don't want Matt Gaetz anywhere
Oh fuck no.
near any minors.
Fuck no. Fuck no. He would not be. If I could walk into my house and Matt Gates is nowhere near my kids, I'm swinging. Let me just tell you, I'm not asking any fucking
Totally. You
questions.
know, Matt Gaetz,
Punching him in the throat.
I don't think he can come back from this. There's no way he can come back from this. The only way, if his PR agent is any good, maybe he can spin this to do some reality stuff because he is an interesting person to watch. He's a shit person,
Oh
but
God.
if he were to do like Traitors or
House
like the
villains.
biggest villain, type shows, okay, maybe. But as far as a political career, that's shot. It's because he couldn't keep it in his pants.
Well, I will say, if Anthony Weiner can make a comeback,
But is he making a comeback right now?
he's apparently going for it. He's trying. So,
He single-handedly cost Hillary Clinton that election.
yeah. Well, and the guy from the FBI who decided to, Jim Comey, I think, who ended up getting screwed by Trump, but he decided to release this investigation a week before the election, which is so damaging. And now with Trump, everything's like, well, he has the election coming up, or he's president. We can't do anything about it now. But
Horrible.
yeah, Matt Gaetz. I will say, thank God, at least Trump listened to the uproar on this man and did proceed with him because he almost did anyways,
Hmm.
and he probably would have gotten confirmed because these fucking Republicans are just doing Trump's bidding, like the Emperor in Star Wars. At this point, they don't give a fuck. Like they're not fighting Papa at all, and they're. That's why I don't know if you heard all the news about the Republican town halls that are just jam packed with people fucking shouting at these motherfuckers. Like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? Do your jobs. You have to fight back on some of this shit.
100%.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
How are Trump's approval ratings right now? Are
Well,
they
if you ask him and Fox News, they've never been better. But apparently, right now, they're and I've heard conflicting reports, but I've heard they're about a 51 favorable with 47 unfavorable, and then the rest kind of like undecided. But apparently, that's like very low when you think about how early in his term we are. It's only been a month, so you know take that as you will. I think it's going to keep going down because, like I said, like this thing with the stock market, like people are losing money. So it's not just me. You know who has the most access to the stock market? Rich people. So if I'm losing
Hmm.
money, they're losing big money. Uh, and you have the mass firings, which is affecting everyone. You have the chaos and organizations where people are not getting social security payments and shit. It's people's pockets are starting to really get hit. Grocery prices have not been addressed, and they're still going up and up and up. Julie the other day bought a fucking pack of eggs for $12. I
Wow.
told her to stop buying eggs. If you freaking go to the store, it's $12. Don't buy the goddamn eggs. We don't need them anymore.
You can buy a chick and
Yeah,
have your own
yeah,
chicken and
goddamn
your own
right.
free eggs.
That's right. And when it gets bird flu, put it down myself. God damn it, save money on the vet.
I love chicken breasts.
Oh yeah, it's the only breast Simo loves.
Yeah. Well, who's next on your list?
Up next on my list is someone who I'm not gonna lie, it hurts me to put him on this list because it's someone who I once looked up to very much. Not necessarily so the person, but the character that this man played. In
Have you
fact, this
watched his porno? The leaked porno? I was looking for it, I couldn't find it.
at the time, I did watch a couple of seconds of it. Let me tell you, you didn't miss much. I expected better from the brother. There's a reason I know I wanted to buy that sex tape, though. Apparently, that's kind of how it came out. He was shopping it around, but then reports came out of what was in it. But, anyways, I'm talking about Hulk Hogan, brother. Shout out to Cage Side Seats for this info because Hulk Hogan got canceled uh, during a conversation that he was having with someone now known as Heather Cole, at the time Heather Clem, who's the wife of his, at the time, best friend, Bubba the Love Sponge Clem, who was a radio personality, and was recorded along with their sex tape, apparently without Hogan's consent. And the sex tape portion of the video was released by a website called Gawker and prompted a lawsuit from Hogan. And then a July 2015 report came out from the National Enquirer revealing that Hulk referred to black people by the N word in the video, which led to his dismissal from WWE and the loss of other endorsements and partnerships. Now, David Bixenspan and Maria Bustillos of Death in Texas magazine were able to get that tape at the time, and they listened to more than 3 hours of audio in it, which is good lord, dude. You shut up. And released the clip containing the statements reported by the Inquirer, which led to Hogan's firing. And we have it right here at the Frat Chat podcast. And note, of course, when I say the N word, he is saying the full word
Ooh.
with the hard ER in the end,
Oh, not the ER.
which we all know makes it way worse.
Ooh.
That's not. It's already terrible to say. You should never say it, especially if you're a white person. But you add the hard ER in the end, and that's just, you are really putting out how you feel out there. But this is what he said. And he's talking about his daughter, who at the time was apparently, he suspected was seeing this black guy. And so, nope, this is all Hogan's word. And I quote, he goes, "So it gets to the point, brother, where, I don't know, if Brooke was fucking the black guy's son, or they've been hanging out, because I caught them holding hands together on the tour. And they were getting kind of close to kind of the fucking, brother. Now, I'm not a double standard type of guy. I'm a racist to a point, fucking N-words. But then, when it comes to nice people and shit, and then she goes, we're all that way. And he goes, yeah, cool. When it comes to nice people, you gotta, you can't say which I'm guessing it says 2-second redaction, which I'm guessing says the N word. It says, I don't give a fuck if she fucked an 8-foot tall basketball player, which the lady he was talking to laughed. And he goes, if we're gonna fuck with the N words, let's get a rich one, brother.
Ugh.
is what he said, which is
Hulk Hogan, come on. A
disgusting, dude.
lot of people
Because
look up to you. You can't say stuff like that.
I know, man, and this is what I was talking about when we spoke about him bringing the character to do Trump rallies and shit. Because now at this point, it's not Terry Bollea being, race. It's him turning his back on all the little black kids, all the Latino kids who made him a fucking worldwide phenomenon growing up. Because it wasn't just white kids that made Hulkamania. And if you watch the '80s, the kids would fucking go after him and like love him like a fucking national hero. And there's kids of every single fucking race. And he was a good guy when it came to doing like make a wish stuff, and he didn't discriminate then. So I don't understand how, as he got older, he got so bitter. And no, then he was like I said, he got fired from WWE. His name was taken off the WWE Hall of Fame for a couple of years. Eventually, apparently, he found Christ. He was able to get reinstated in WWE. However, his popularity has not been the same. He actually recently made an appearance during a Los Angeles show and got booed to fuck by the audience, and he had to cut the segment short and leave. So it definitely isn't going well. And it doesn't help that, of course, he then brought the character into the bastion of tolerance for other races and minorities, a MAGA rally, and started shilling out for Donald Trump and doing the Hulk Hogan character at his rallies. And now he's like, goes around basically as Trump's spokesperson around the country. So that definitely is not helping with his popularity, or his look that he's not necessarily racist. But
I should
very
have
disappointing.
known that he could not be trusted after I saw that hairline.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck he didn't just. Only he could have pulled that hair too. I
Ooh,
was like,
what a
that just
mess.
showed how much of an
Look back, I'm
icon he
like, ugh.
was. But
Anywho, well, next up for me this is a bad one. And this is someone that, I saw a video of him recently. Someone made a claim about him and then he clapped back. And I was like, no, no, no.
oh
When
god,
you are when you have had so many allegations about sexual assault and you are like a predator, like you don't have the right to clap back.
totally,
You need to just move to a small town that does not like that's not close enough to like a playground or schools. You just need to move far away and just live a modest life out of the public eye and just keep to yourself and do some thinking. You know what I mean? Like this
totally.
guy is a piece of shit, but his name is Kevin Spacey. And Kevin Spacey in 2017, he faced a lot of allegations of sexual assaults and sexual harassment. Um, on October 29th, 2017, there's an actor named Anthony Rapp. He was the first one to accuse Spacey of sexual misconduct. And a few weeks later, a lot of other people came forward, including actor Roberto Cavazos,
Mhm.
filmmaker Tony Montana, Richard Dreyfuss's son, Harry, and at least 8 people who worked on House of Cards,
All right,
which was a great show. Like, he really fucked
I
it up for all
know,
the other cast members and,
I know. And they were filming
team
like the
members,
last season or
production
something
crew.
when all this
Yeah.
came out. It was really bad.
So, in the wake of these claims, Netflix cut ties with Spacey. There was a biopic um, of Gore Vidal
Right,
that they shelved. They removed him from the last season of House of Cards 2. His completed role as J. Paul Getty in Ridley Scott's film All the Money in the World was reshot with another actor named Christopher Plummer. So Spacey has denied accusations and was found not liable in a 2022 civil lawsuit filed by Rapp in New York. In a separate criminal case in London, he was acquitted by a jury of sexual assault charges in 2023. So he maintains that like the courts have said that he's fine, and so he's actually broke right now. He relocated to Maryland, and he is broke at the moment because he spent an exorbitant amount of money on legal fees. But instead of spending a lot of money on legal fees, how about you just don't touch people? And so a lot of people have come forward saying that
Oh,
he uh liked younger men, and that he would like groom them, and he would be inappropriate. And a lot of these younger men were like, trying to get ahead in the career. And so I guess maybe he gave them false hope that he would look out for them in their careers if they would, suck a dick up for a hiccup.
yep,
Horrible. But he's a
yep.
piece of shit. He was
Ugh,
crying on Pierce Morgan about how he doesn't have any money. And I thought to myself, like, well, who do you have to blame? I have zero tolerance for predators.
totally,
Zero.
totally. It's like, what the fuck were you thinking, bro?
Like
Especially if he,
this.
and then he tried to come out of the closet to like blame it. He's like, no, I'm not a predator. I'm just gay. It's like, dude, that is the worst come out of all time. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You could have been gay happily and
So
not be fucking a predator.
8 people that worked on a House of Cards that came forward. That's 8 that we know of. But that's
Yeah,
like a soccer team. You know what I mean? So like 8 people from one show. How many for all the other shows he worked on? He's a pretty prolific actor,
yeah,
And so I think to myself, like, I understand that he's like, my life is horrible right now. They really ran me through the mud. How do you think these 8 people and more that didn't come forward feel, knowing that they were treated in some particular way? You know what I
totally,
mean?
totally,
Like he's not the victim here. There are
totally.
victims, but it's not him.
It's like
Whatever. Kevin
you're
Spacey, ugh,
the
piece of
woes of my
shit.
actions. Oh, the consequences of the things I've done. Poor me. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I have 2 left on mine, Mr. Mo.
Your
This,
next one, I didn't recognize the name at first, and then I thought to myself, do people recognize his name? Is this a household name?
um, yes and no. It depends. I feel like it depends. For millennials, it was because he also had a brother. I forget. It's Danny. It's the Masterson brothers, but his brother was in Malcolm in the Middle. I forget. I forget the brother's name. Malcolm in the Middle cast. Christopher Masterson. He played Francis in Malcolm in the Middle, the older brother.
Okay.
So the 2 of them were kind of famous around the same time. But that '70s show, if you're a millennial around that time, everybody watched that fucking show. That show was so good and famous. For a while they were up there. They were even making towards the end of that show $1 million per episode, which was Friends money at the time. Which is wild. But of course, I'm talking about Danny Masterson, who, as I said, part of a hit show there, that '70s show. He also was, at the time where this scandal popped off, I was in the middle of another successful show with that '70s show alum, Ashton Kutcher, called The Ranch on Netflix, which had done pretty well until December 2017, when Danny Masterson, who again known from that '70s show as Hyde, if you ever watched that show, was written off and fired by Netflix from the show The Ranch amid multiple allegations of sexual assault, which the actor denied. The allegations in the resulting trial also caused Masterson to be the only surviving main or supporting cast member of that '70s show not to be invited back to the sequel series, that '90s show, and his character of Stephen Hyde was simply not mentioned in the new series. In May 2023, Masterson was convicted of raping 2 women in 2003. Third count of rape resulted in a hung jury. And in September 2023, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Most notably, Masterson was a Scientologist, as were his victims at the time of the assault. And apparently, the Church of Scientology attempted to silence the victims and interfered a lot in the trial, which led to the resulting 20-year delay in bringing the crimes to justice. So I don't know if Danny Masterson will make it out of jail alive at this point. He just started his sentence not that long ago, and he still has like 28
You
years to
know,
go. He's
he
still
was the
rich,
funny
but
looking one. I think
yeah, the
that
fro.
Topher Grace,
Yep.
he had his own charm. He's a cute kid. Ashton Kutcher is beautiful. Fez was good looking, but um, Danny Masterson, like I don't even know how he got on that show. What did he bring to the table?
Well, he was supposed to be the not handsome one, like the one who's like against the man, the hippie, So he fit that role pretty well. He was a good hide, I have to say.
I didn't
But
like looking at him.
yeah, he's definitely not meant to be the good looking one. Let's just
This
say that.
sounds really shitty to say, but when allegations came forward about him, I was like, he looks like the type. He looks like
uh,
that. He looks like he would not ask permission before he grew up someone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's bad. That's bad. And then they're saying that his wife divorced him while he was in jail, so she could take like half the money or something, uh, and not have to, because he's gonna get sued up the ass by all the victims now.
good.
So, and his wife is actress Bijou Phillips, who's actually very famous, and she was married to him from 2011 to 2023, and she was notably at the trial watching a lot of this testimony and stuff. So you can't imagine what it's like for the victims, but also I can't imagine what it's like for being someone's wife and seeing these people saying that your husband did these awful, awful things to these people.
Horrible.
So, oof, that is Danny Masterson, and I don't know, man. Jail can't be good for anyone, but especially when someone gets the level of rich that he was. Like, he had so much money that I can't imagine his life being very difficult at all on a daily basis. You know what I mean? You can eat whatever you want, and you can travel wherever you want, and you can go to the beach, you can go fucking mountains, do whatever the fuck you want. Fire up the fucking private jet. We're going. And now you're in some teeny tiny cell thinking about your actions. Oof, that can't be good.
I do think though, if you ask any like young person, like, what are your thoughts on Danny Masterson? They're gonna say who?
Who? Yeah, at this point, it's crazy how fast people move on. But yeah, I agree. I think, and the ranch was mostly popular because there was a lot of fans from that '70s show who liked that, Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson were back together. That was kind of like the hype, reuniting that '70s show guys for another show. So I never quite got into that show though, the ranch. I tried watching an episode, it just wasn't for me personally. But I still love that '70s show. I have to say. And I love that '90s show. It's a good reboot. Uh, totally miss them. But definitely do not miss Hyde. That is awful.
I don't miss him either. And this is my last one. My last one is Mel Gibson.
Oh, Mel!
Yeah, there's like a common thread of people that are on this list because they say mean things about the Jewish community. Like when you say anti-Semitic stuff, like it's not going to benefit you, And so Mel Gibson, we all know that like almost 20 years ago, he got pulled over for a DUI. I think he had an open container of alcohol
Yep.
while he when he got pulled over, he was speeding. Um, he said some pretty gnarly things to the cop. He asked the cop, I think he was Jewish, right? Did he say some weird
Yep.
things about Jews
The
taking over the world?
Jews are controlling the world. Ah.
It's like, did the Jews make you open that bottle of alcohol and get in the car? I don't think so, bro. Um, so like he had like a public like apology, whatever. But then there's other people who come forward saying like, you know what, he said some weird things to me too. So like for example, Winona Ryder has told the story over and over and over about Mel Gibson at a party with her and her friend, and Mel Gibson allegedly responded to her friend who happened to be gay by asking if he was going to get AIDS from speaking with him. And later he asked Winona Ryder if she was an oven dodger.
No.
I guess he's referring to like
You
people
know,
getting put in the ovens in the
yeah, the
Holocaust.
camps, the people that avoided going to the camps during the Holocaust. That's terrible.
But some representative for Mel Gibson was like, that never happened, but why would people lie about that? And also, like,
Winona got so mad she stole his wallet.
yeah, you know, and went on a shopping spree but didn't use the wallet.
That's right.
So I think that his performance in like Braveheart, like when he's like murdering, killing a bunch of people in the field, is that who he really is? Was that a
that was
character?
real.
Is that who he? Maybe that's just who he is.
That wasn't even background actors. The
So,
movie had to pay millions for settlements.
Yeah. So I also know that he gotten remarried,
Yep.
and his wife, after a year, filed for like a restraining order, citing like domestic abuse, or I think she was scared. Her last name is Grigorieva. Grigorieva. I don't know. I think she's like a Russian pretty girl. Anyway,
But apparently, I don't know if you saw it, Trump named Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and John Voight as special ambassadors to a troubled Hollywood, okay? Saying, we're going to bring the lost business back, okay? And apparently, they're going to be looked into starting what I'm guessing is government-founded movie studio that's anti-woke. So I guess like kind of like Hallmark, but with these guys in it. And to feature, I'm sure, a lot of government propaganda. But apparently, Mel Gibson had no idea this was even going to happen. He was just watching TV and saw Trump appointed him that. And he was like, oh, okay. So we might be seeing a lot more of him in the days to come.
I have one more thing I wanted to read about Mel Gibson. This is from like 15 years ago. So in July 2010, Gibson was recorded during a phone call with his wife after they got separated, where he suggested that if she got raped by a pack of N-words, she would be to blame, and he threatened to burn her house down while she was inside of it.
Yeah. If you listen to this,
it's crazy.
It's not the way that it's not even. I mean, the words that he says are awful, but also the way he says it. He's like, ah!
Oh yeah, it's psycho.
It's like he's just shouting. It's almost like a zombie just learned to speak English and just turned out into a racist zombie. What the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
So his wife said that the voices on the multiple recordings leaked were definitely of herself and Gibson. So that he was barred from coming near her or their daughter due to domestic violence related restraining order. And later, the LA County Sheriff's Department launched domestic violence investigation against Gibson. Later, they dropped it when Gibson pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor battery charge. So, I think I saw a movie fairly recently, like on Netflix or something, where he was playing a big prank or something. It was like his birthday, and his like radio station were playing a big prank or something, and it got out of control. So I see that he's getting some work, but it isn't anywhere close to like the Mel Gibson that we fell in love with when we were younger. Because like he was, I mean, Braveheart was great. He was in the Patriot,
Lethal Weapon, dude.
Lethal Weapon. What Women Want. Some amazing pictures. So like I used to think to myself like, wow, like what, like my Aunt Susie was obsessed with him. She thought he was so sexy.
Yeah.
Now he's just like, I don't think of, when I hear his name, I don't think of all these amazing movies. I think of like the crazy anti-Semitic rants.
However,
that's the first thing that comes to mind.
To be fair, he was always like an alcoholic. It was always like getting in trouble with the law for being drunk. But as you said, the secret magic word was super sexy. Ladies loved him. You could look past it. And the thing is, when he was young, he was charming as shit. And if you see the movies that he's in now, I've seen a few. Uh, Obviously, I don't watch everything that he's done, but I saw a couple that he did in the 2012s and shit. And even the Expendable movie that he popped in on, he's still a great actor, and he's very charming on screen. Mel Gibson has this charisma to him, but he's fucking insane as a normal person. Like, he is not a normal guy, but great actor. Can't take that away from him. And I think he does have a chance of getting America back. Unfortunately, that's because apparently he's in talks of doing a Lethal Weapon 5 with Danny Glover, doing one more.
Oh, really?
Lethal Weapon. Yes, which is, everybody loves a good nostalgia act. So if he does that again, and they're any bit as good as Lethal Weapon 1 through 4, he could be back. I'm just saying. And, you never wish ill on someone like that, but it's like, dude, you're a pretty shitty person. You need to fucking
bad news.
You need to work on yourself. Like, I don't want you dead or broke or anything, but you really fucking come on, dude.
Is Mel Gibson short? He gives me short man energy.
How tall is Mel Gibson? How tall?
Let me see. Hey Siri.
5'10".
Okay. Never mind, Siri. You're too slow.
Not like Tom Cruise levels.
Ooh.
Which is crazy. However, it pisses me off because you see a lot of castings pop up, and which is like looking for actors 6'1" or above. Whatever. It's like, motherfuckers, y'all been having Tom Cruise play 6 feet for goddamn 30 goddamn years. You gonna sit here and tell me that you gotta cast someone 6'2"? You can't just fucking pan the camera up and make him look tall? Like, bitch, what the fuck? I fit this one perfectly, but I'm not 6'2". Get out of here.
How tall are you?
I am just over 5'8".
Yikes. I didn't realize you were. I didn't realize that you were a protected class.
That's right. However, next to Tom Cruise, I'm fucking Shaq. So it's like, really? 6'2" or above? Get out of here, motherfucker. I don't like it.
Well, anywho, that's Mel Gibson. Your last one is probably gonna take the cake.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because this one is a situation where it's already crazy, but we don't even know the half
scope. Oh yeah,
at this point. And I'm talking about the D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D. It's Diddy. Remember that song?
Yeah.
And it's P. Diddy, who is currently dealing with his own cancellation from the county jail in LA, I believe. And of course, Diddy, it's an insane case. But to summarize it, one of the biggest things about it is that he was having these freak-off parties where, everybody knew about the famous Diddy parties, but the after parties were even more insane, where, people were getting drugged and forced to have sex with other people. People were getting urinated on, defecated on, all kinds of shit. He also was in trouble for beating up his, at the time, girlfriend, Cassie. And the thing
that was like the starting point.
Yes, where it really started to, people's perception of him really started to change, especially because it was caught on tape. And you see as she is literally trying to escape this man in a hotel hallway, and she's waiting for the elevator, and he comes running out in a bathroom and sees her and just beats the living fucking piss out of her. It is bad. And then apparently, to make things worse, Cassie was known to be friends with Kid Cudi, famous rapper, sometimes actor. And when Diddy suspected that Cassie had run to Kid Cudi, he had allegedly Kid Cudi's car blown up. Because what Diddy wants, Diddy gets. And
it's like a mobster movie.
Exactly. He thinks he's that type of person. And so it's been revealed that, his ego's out of control, obviously. and all these things. But it has gotten bad enough where the most recent development is that one of his lawyers, one of his main attorneys, just resigned a couple of days ago and would not say the reason why he could no longer work with Diddy. But, I mean, it's suspected that it's bad enough what he found out in the case, and that's why he's now trying to distance himself as far fucking away as he can from Diddy. But
Wow.
like, you know how bad it has to be for a defense attorney who signed on to do this to be like, I can't. This is too much for me. It's like, ugh. He was like, oh my God, there was so much baby oil. Oh God.
And we think that maybe the baby oil had drugs in it.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. He got caught with so much baby oil in his property. Like, it's like, dude, how much butt sex were you guys doing? Ugh. And you have to clean all that up after. Because you know they hired someone. Like, it was like definitely a cleaning crew that to come and wipe the shit and the pee.
And then if you're a cleaning crew, you have to sign an NDA. It's like, I don't know if I want to sign if I want to.
Fuck no!
Clean this place.
I'm not gonna sign an NDA somewhere that potentially could give me fucking hepatitis. Like, you know how much piss, shit, and blood there probably was, and fucking vomit, and all the worst things all put together. Fuck.
Can you imagine if, like, the FBI came in and were like, "This is a crime scene. We need to investigate," and they're like, "Wait, someone already cleaned this. Do you think P Diddy's gonna defend the cleaning crew and say, 'Oh, they followed my order'? He's gonna say, 'They did it. Arrest them. I didn't clean up anything.'" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's. Oh man! Also, I can't imagine being these people. Like, apparently, there was a person who was at these parties, and she said that she got strapped to like a wheel, essentially, and it was like spin the wheel with a person attached to it, and whatever the wheel landed on, the person had to do, and it was like, you know, getting shit on, getting pissed on, and
Throwing
stuff like
up.
that. And yeah, exactly. And like the lady was said, so she was like upside down, the head down, while people were like taking pisses and shits on her, and she's on this wheel. And it's like, obviously they kept her drugged, so in some sense at the time she maybe thought she was having fun, but it's like, dude, what the fuck? This is awful.
We haven't heard from Ashton Kutcher in a long time.
Well, he got in trouble. Him and Mila Kunis, not fully canceled, but it turned out that they sent letters in support of Danny Masterson around the time of the sentencing, and who I just spoke about on the last one. And so during the sentencing, you know, they were like arguing with the judge. He's a good guy. We've never seen him do any of the things that he's being accused of. You know, think of his kids, think of his wife, all this shit. And people are like, oh, well, think about his victims, assholes. Like, so they're like very almost dismissive of what the victim statement, saying like, oh, well, we didn't know him to be like that, so he's a good guy. Like, you know, take pity on him.
Bad news.
Yeah, very bad news. Very bad news.
I think he'll be canceled soon, officially.
It's
my prediction.
I don't know how you come back from that one. You got to take a while and do a lot of good. And it was very tone deaf too, because him and Mila Kunis, but especially him, he was on the board for an organization that basically the message was believe sexual assault victims.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's telling this judge to have pity on his friend who assaulted the sexual assault victim and essentially said, well, I don't really believe exactly what they said, type thing. You know, it's kind of tone deaf, to say the least. But maybe he'll support Diddy too. Who knows? I've been to a lot of parties, Your Honor. I never once saw any poo-poo. But Diddy, my question with him is like, what the fuck is going to happen there? I mean, what they have on him alone that we know of, you know, and they're trying to give him like RICO charges. Like, he's not getting out ever, in my opinion. I don't see how he gets out unless they somehow drop all the charges. I don't see how he gets out of jail.
I mean, money talks, so who knows?
Yeah, but you
But
spend enough of it defending yourself. He does have all the money in the world, but he doesn't have those Biggie catalogs anymore. He gave him back to the families and shit after a few years. So, uh, you know, if people boycott his shit, which I don't know if they are, I don't know how he makes money. So, I don't know. I don't know. But
bad
anywho,
news bear.
that is our list, ladies and
Listeners, who
gentlemen.
did we forget?
That's right. Let us know any of your favorite celebs that got canceled. And I know we can totally do a part 2 here. We got the Roseannes in the world to talk about. We got plenty to
Kathy
go.
Griffin.
That's right. So let us know. Shoot us an email with celebs you want us to talk about for the next round of canceled celebs at fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. And you can also give me a follow. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com. Check me out on social media. Carlos Does the World on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. You can follow my buddy Chris Moore over here at chris.moore.comedy. Hold on.
Or just find me in the bathroom at the local H&R Block. I'm there a lot.
He's saving thousands on taxes that he's spending fixing their pipes. Oh, yeah. Man, you can give him a follow at chris.moore.comedy. And I am like choking over here. Sorry. Woo! On Instagram, on TikTok, and see more comedy on Twitter/X. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So these are my final words. Just know that we will be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. Oh, wait, but you got to get us out. I'm sorry, Simo. I'm dying.
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I second. Sorry about that. God. And of course, now we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts and time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. See ya!
Bye.